Hello, we are going now to present the stakeholder interaction table, or shortly the interaction table, which is one of the tool of the MSDS method. We will see the aim and the main description of it, how to use it in its detail, the integration within the methodology, and the availability and the required resources of this tool. So the aim actually is to design or co-design with other stakeholder the functioning during the time of the system in relation to the different stakeholders. So we will have a narrative, a kind of a story for each of the stakeholders, both for the front desk, so with the clients, and the backstage interaction, so between the other stakeholders that are those that at the end enable the providement of the offer to the customer. So it is a graphical representation that for which we have for each actors a row, and in each row we have a sequence of images plus some short text that represent during the time the various action of the stakeholder. Then we will have a short text describing either the role and a narrative of that. Finally, for each column, we will have a product and services and who is the owner of the product and who is delivering the services in relation to the action link to that column. But how to use the interaction table? First of all, you have to open it. It's an Excel file. In the first row, you can represent the different phases of the process. You may have a phase in which you are incubating or designing the sustainable product service system, eventually applied to distributed economy, then an implementation phase, a running phase, and maybe a maintenance phase if you want to highlight an end of life phase. Then we have other arrow, and for each of the arrow, we have some the story related or the action related to the different stakeholder. So the stakeholder actually will be highlighted and identified by a label in the first column. Either they are provider or customer. The customer are are red highlighted in the upper side, and the provider are blue in the first darker arrow, and then we have a different type of color for the different type of actor. Then the role and the columns present the sequences of activities related to the system, but let's see that we have even an upper row in which actually we can highlight for each of the action in time what is the product that is needed for that action and who is the owner, or what service is provided in that action and who is the provider of that service. So as we said, we have a customer arrow and the other stakeholder arrow with the blue line, as we said before, on the upper part, and then a different color code. In this case, you can see a light blue and a green for that identify the color the color of the single stakeholder. So the first action is to insert the stakeholder label, and the label could be taken from another file that has all the typology of stakeholder, and you may fill in by typing the text, adding something, or even modifying something, or you can even take those label because in some cases you have already identified those actors in the innovation diagram. They are the same, so you may drag and drop either from the innovation diagram or for the PowerPoint file that is provided as a repository of label together with the Excel file of the interaction table. So here we have the activities of the system, and let's see that first of all, for a given actor, for example, we see this provider, it's a private energy company. We have a short text that is describing the role. Then we have an activity description. Here is more a narrative, could be even in third person, like in a storyboard, let's say. And then we have an image. And actually here for the image, we have to identify at least two different parts of the set. We have a background images. Usually we suggest to use a black and white, but then it's really up to you. And then you have another image, an icon that is related to the actors. Actually, is usually is a silhouette having the color of the related actors, so that if you have different actor into one scene, you can recognize this. And if you are using this tool in co-designing with different stakeholder, the different stakeholder may well understand where they are positioned and which action they are doing or taking part in. Okay, so we have the labels up there, in which we have a product and the owner of the product or service and service provider. And this could be taken from, again, the repository of images in the PowerPoint file that is provided together with the interaction table, or because it was maybe already defined in the innovation diagram. So you drag and drop there inside in relation to the time or the action in which these products or services are needed or purchased. And to build up the scene, we have an image library for which you can take a context images, so the background, as well as other images related to people and so on. Obviously, you can build your own images. You're not asked to use those, but this is to make it faster. Better still, if you are developing some images, you can deliver those images to us so that we can improve our data bank of context images and people images. Where we integrate the interaction table in the MSDS methodology, we can use it when we analyze the existing system offer, so the interaction of the system that we have to redesign. We use it definitely in the system concept design when we have to draft or define the action on up to a concept level. So what is the role of each actor and what is the interaction between the different action during the time in relation to the different actors. And we can still use it in the system detailed design phase, in which this action which will be much more detailed. So the Excel file could become even quite a large file. We have developing, making consultancy for company, even really quite wide interaction when you go down to a greater detail. So you can actually download the interaction table as an Excel file from the Lens International platform in the tool page. The version that you find now online is English. And as we said, together with that, you can download even a repository of label that could be useful for filling and preparing the interaction table. As well, you have an image library from which you can download either context images and people images, as we said before, and this could be downloaded as an open access from the Lens International platform in the tool page as well. What you need definitely is a computer, an Excel reader, and an internet connection to download it. And the time to develop this, it could could be really could really change. It could go to draft it from 1 hour, or to even when you go down to define better detail, it can go up to 2 hours, but even more. It depends on the level of detail that you are developing and the complexity of the system that you are going to develop.